I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but I keep reading about certain foods being pro-inflammatory. I don't think there is any evidence or science behind these claims, but would love Cecilia's opinion on this. So what's the crack?
Yeah, so let's start with an easy question, I guess. It is a very good question, and it's not easy to answer, honestly. And part of the reason, I think, is that the language that we're using is a bit wrong. Like, sometimes we tend to look at food as good and bad, right? Superfood or something terrible you should avoid at all costs. And, you know, pro-inflammatory, anti-inflammatory. And especially with the inflammatory system, you don't want it to not work, right? You want it to work, but not too much. So that's a fine balance. And I think just simplifying it to this food is pro-inflammatory, this food is anti-inflammatory, it's just too simplistic. Also, a lot of these things come from the human side of things, and we feed ourselves very differently than the way we feed our dogs, right? So single ingredients maybe have like a heavier weight or bigger importance in people because we eat like separately. For dogs, we usually feed them a complete diet. So if one ingredient we think it's pro-inflammatory, does this work in this matrix of ingredients combined with other ingredients, you know, after the processing and all of that? So I don't really look at foods that way, like as pro-inflammatory or anti-inflammatory. I just look at the ingredients as being safe and nutritious and a good source of nutrients that, you know, experienced people put together to make sure that, at least according to our current knowledge, is a correct diet, right? And as I always say, pet foods 20 years ago look very different than what pet foods are now, and I'm sure that will be the same 20 years from now. Maybe 20 years from now we will say, yes, this food was pro-inflammatory and we shouldn't have used it. But at this point, we really don't have any evidence to discriminate between ingredients.